Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords podcast. I'm Lee, the Arcanite Admiral. Joining me today is Alex Krohn.
Hey.
And, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all right.
Okay, and we have a special guest, Alex Thibaudeau, also known as Adeptus Diceus.
Exactly.
Here to talk about KO and the new book.
Exactly. New tactics, new lists, new everything. Awesome.
Okay. So before we get stuck in, just a couple of little bits of news just to breeze through. We had the FAQ, which is fairly helpful. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Lacking. Yeah. I think there are a few things that I expected to be FAQ that were not.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll, I have to interpret a few more weeks or months before we get a new FAQ, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it clarifies a lot of our garrison questions.
Yeah, that's true, though.
You can retreat from combat without counting as a retreat, so you're always flying high. You can, if the boat runs, the people inside can still shoot. If the boat charges, the people inside aren't charging.
So they would still get cover if they're attacked.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because
lookups works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think 90% of the questions had the same answer. And if they didn't, they had the other answer, which is basically one of the answers was you always just measure and check visibility to the ship.
Yeah.
So that means when a unit inside the ship shoots a unit in a forest, they can see them?
Yes.
Oh, all right. So.
Yeah.
Because you check visibility from the ship, so
yeah,
why not? And then the other one was kind of a basic. I can't remember exactly the word. It's like I might as well read it because it's only a short one. Most of the others got a sort of thing that says no. If an ability modifies a rule, any restrictions that apply to the rule apply, unless specifically noted otherwise. Which they answered that for most things. Which is basically you can't be cheeky and try and use things to do other things that you're not meant to.
Yeah, and they kind of clarified, even though I don't think it needed clarifying, how Spill in the Bottle works, and I think the collector trait for the chemist also works. But I thought these two were pretty clear to begin with.
Yeah, well, they're just one of those ones where people could try and rules lawyer it a bit.
Yeah,
because it doesn't say Kharadron Overlords hero, so I'm like, well, does that mean you can give allies and stuff? But I mean, it was fairly obvious how it's meant to work anyway.
Yeah, I thought the two biggest omissions were about the Zilfin special move that they make in the hero phase. I thought that the two things that needed clarifying about that move, and that's because I use it in almost every game. So first of all, can you fly high? I mean, I think it's a given that you can, but it's not clarified
100%
per se.
Clear. Yeah,
but still, and the second thing, which is a bit more blurry to me, is if you use that special move on a ship, can wardens or riggers hitchhike that same ship when you do that move? Can you? I mean, it's
not clear.
Yeah, it's not. So, in fact, that would allow you to make a move with more than one unit. So I don't know. I still think you can do it, but it's not 100% clear.
Yeah,
so I would have liked. I think so.
It's probably best to. At the moment, we still need to check with the TO of whatever event we're going to.
I agree.
Yeah, for that one. I mean,
it's not class.
The bit that makes it unclear is actually ironically the thing that's probably trying to make it clearer, because it's the bit in brackets at the end.
Yeah, I can look it up. I have my book right there.
Because it says instead of making a normal move, which implies you kind of need a normal move to be able to do it. But then right after it says in brackets, it says as long as the unit has not already made a normal move in the same phase.
Yeah, so that's why to me it looks like you can do it, because obviously the Hitcher unit hasn't made a move in the same phase.
Yeah.
So to me, they put it in parentheses, so I think you can do it. But that's how I played right now, and as a TO, that's how I would rule it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think AOS coach. I think AOS coach was saying that's how they were running it. That's how you would run it at tournaments too. So I think we can assume that's how it's going to be run at tournaments, but it's always better to ask first.
Yeah.
Was that how they played it at KenCon, by the way? Do you know?
I don't know, because I didn't actually run Zilfin.
Yeah, you play Urbaz, right?
I like my Urbaz. Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing from the FAQ was Battalion Gate.
Battalion Gate?
Yeah. Are you not aware of that?
No, I'm not. Was it about the Iron? Go ahead.
So there's one of the questions, which I assume is meant to be asking if you can do what you used to be able to do with boats and deploy units at the same time.
Okay.
So it says, when I set up a sky vessel before the battle begins, can I set up units in its garrison at the same time? And it says no. However, after you set up the sky vessel, you can add units to its garrison when they're set up if the sky vessel is wholly within your territory.
Yeah.
So the thing there is, I think the question is meant to be, can I do what I used to be able to do with boats and just deploy loads of stuff at the same time?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it also rules as the way it's written basically means that you can't deploy units inside the boat if they're both in the same battalion using in one drop.
Yeah.
Because the way a battalion works, you deploy all the units at the same time, and it says no, you can't garrison them if you deploy them at the same time. You have to put the ship down first.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have a battalion, it's if you want the stuff in your units in the boat, it's 2 drops basically.
Yeah, I'm just reading the FAQ part right there. I think that the way it's meant to be read is that once you put, if you want to put a unit as a garrison, the boat has to be on the table. When you drop your battalion, for example, your escort wing or your sky command, whatever. Well, if you put down your frigate first or your ironclad, then it's on the table. Even though it's the same drop, you still have your choice of which unit you put down first, even though it's the same drop, but it's on the table. And then you just, I'm going to put my Thunderers in my frigate or in my ironclad. Even though it's dropped at the same time, you still have to put your boat down first. That's the way we see it.
And I'd definitely say if you're playing a battalion, you can put your dwarves out of your boat. You can put your dwarves in your boat if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, because the way they've worded the FAQ, I think that is something you're going to possibly need to double check with TOs just to be sure.
Yeah.
But apparently, on the rumor mill, I have heard that Games Workshop are aware of this, and there is something forthcoming. Either I don't know what that's going to be, whether that's going to be another FAQ or some sort of article or something. But apparently, something is coming soon to clarify that a bit more.
I mean, I think one of the most important parts of the FAQ is that they didn't say we can't take hell cannons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would you?
So,
isn't it the same? Do you need to have all your models from the Simgren Alliance in match play? Is there a rule or something?
There is in the core book, but Battletome overrides the core book in
Oh,
Battletomes override core books, so it works.
Okay.
And I'm going to die on this hill and just mention it as often as I can before it goes away.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so there's no other. Oh, the only other news is, because I think we covered the FAQ really, is
Yeah,
that
pretty much.
we're running a little bit of competition in the Facebook group. So if you painted up your new Endrin Master with a dirigible suit, if you find the post about the competition and post a picture, and if we select a winner at the end, yeah, and whoever wins gets the picture of their Endrin Master as the group cover photo for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's not the best prize in the world, but it's bragging rights, I guess.
Oh yeah, big time.
For sure, will be.
Yeah. You got until next week. I think I set the date out for to enter. So yeah, if you painted your guy up, post a pic, and if you haven't, it's the perfect reason to get him painted quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So let's get cracking on the main subject matter then. Start with something nice and easy, and just generally, how do you feel about the new book, Alex? Are you happy with it?
I'm ecstatic, actually. I think the new book opens up a lot of possibilities, a lot of new tricks. We lost a few tricks though from the old book. We gained a few more. I think that pretty much every war scroll has its use. I think that there's more than one truly competitive skyport out there, which is a nice change. I really thought that the only really competitive one was Zilfin, even though Mornar was played a lot, but I think Zilfin was more versatile about that. And yeah, I think I'm thrilled. I mean, good battalions, good artifacts, good command traits, new strategies. I mean, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely right about the skyports there, because just looking through stuff now, I keep switching between different skyports when I'm writing lists and trying out different things. There's still probably a couple of misses for really competitive play.
Oh, I mean, Zon is in about the same position as it was in the last book, which is just why.
Well, I think Zon's problem is that our army is not built around close combat, and
no,
I think our worst unit still are the Sky Wardens, and Zon is built around that unit, so that's kind of meh. But out of the 6 skyports, I really think that 3 are legit options in competitive play, at least 3. I think Urbaz, Zilfin, and Thring are legit choices now.
Oh, Thring.
I really think it's got its usage. I really do. I've tried it a few times. I wouldn't put it on the same footing as Zilfin or Urbaz, but I still think that Thring can have some play with it.
I really like Nar, actually, just for the Thunderer battle line.
Well, I think all 3 skyports that give you more battle line options I think are great, because Nar you get Thunderers, Urbaz get Gunhaulers, and Zilfin get frigates. The only thing I don't like with Barak Nar, I hate its mandatory artifact. I think its rules, its command trait, and I think it's the amendment are kind of redundant. That's I don't know, like that much. I think that the more characters you have, the best it is in Nar. And I don't think you want to have more than 3, maybe more than 2 characters. So those benefits are kind of lost to me. It's great to have more unbind, to have more power to your unbinds, but I still don't think that it's on the same level as Zilfin or Urbaz or even Thring. Does that matter?
I think Zilf and Nobads are definitely the two most powerful skyports we have. Like that's the top level.
Yeah.
I think the
These
thing
are-
with. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was
going to say that the thing with Fring is, and it kind of pushes you down this route where you, in my opinion, you don't end up playing KO. You end up playing more like a mixed sort of Dwarden list, which, if you want to do that, that's fine. That's great. You can either do that in Fring or you can go do it in Tempest Eye, whichever one, which rules sort of suit the thing you want to do best. But it doesn't. I think the main sort of thing from it is the fact that you can include other units. And that's one thing that the FAQ didn't clear up, actually, is how they actually fit into your army, because they don't gain the Kharadron Overlords keyword.
No.
So whether they still actually are allies is a weird one.
I don't think they count as allies, though, because they do gain the Barrack Thring keyword. And if they gain that keyword, they're part of your skyport, and so I would think would not count as allies.
Yeah, I don't think they take up ally points.
I don't think so.
The intention is obviously they're not meant to. It's just, I don't know. It's a bit strange the way they did it.
Right.
Because your actual allegiance is Kharadron Overlords. It's not Barrack Thring. So.
Well, I think it's a case of Roberts is right. I think it was intended as it's not allies, because to be honest, I think it was really meant. If you take a look at Thring's abilities, like the incredibly stubborn one, it's Skyfarer. So your allies or any units you're going to use will not get that ability. The article, you will get access to that because it's only for Barrack Thring. Same thing as a footnote. So, and this is the one that you get to reroll once to hit against 3 units, and you get an extra shot at having extra attacks for 6. So I think the way it was meant to be played is that it's it's not part of your allies' allowance. You can use whatever you want as long as it's 1 in 4. I think. Yeah, every 4th unit can be a Dispossess or Fire Slayer or a Hell Cannon now. So obviously,
I think it just needs a little errata just to say, and these units do not count towards your allegiance or something, and then then once it's written, it works how it's obviously intended to work. Really.
Yeah, that's why our FAQ was lacking, because it was just only a few things to clarify, nothing much. We all assume that that's how we play, but it would have been nice just to make sure like this.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Thank you very much. I don't know. Yeah, I think Thring can have a lot of play.
What combos do you think would work really well with Thring? Like real allies you can use with that.
The things I tried, because I do have like a huge Dispossessed army. I'm an old fantasy player. I had a huge dwarf army back in the days, so I use those models instead. I play Siege of Sigmars as well. I think gyrocopters can plug a nice hole in our armies, and I think combined with the Chronicle of Grudges article, I think it's pretty good. I mean, you play against Skaven with a huge Plague Monks unit. You play against a huge horde of Chaos Marauders. You play against a horde of Goblins. These are all common sight in tournaments. These are all great unit that we struggle to remove because it's a lot of models. We do have Rand, but we don't have a lot of shots, a lot of units that can remove those big blocks. So gyrocopters, to me, they fill that role perfectly, and to be able to roll your ones to hit because they gain the Barrack Thring keyword against those units that are grudged, I think that's pretty interesting, and that's something that we lack. I've seen players use blocks of Earthguard Berserkers, which is also a nice thing. I think so, but it lacks movement.
Yeah. But
so
that's why you can take a Rune Smiter to actually teleport these guys.
That's true, but still, you have to pay for that hero. You would probably pay for a hero anyway, but I think I'd prefer like a Battlesmith for those extra reroll saves. They get to reroll once to the save, I think. So yeah, it's something to think. A block of 20 is 400 points, if I'm not mistaken. 20 Earthguard Berserkers.
Yeah.
So that's like a 500 something point investment, which is, decent as well. I think it's good, but it's still, you have to pop them up. Then it's a 9 to roll. It's not that easy to make. And then against more mobile army, you can just go around that unit, especially with KO now with Fly High. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get a chance to make that charge. If you do, well, that's great. If you don't, well, that unit is pretty much useless. But that's me.
I think it kind of comes down to your play style with those sort of things. I could see them maybe working if you sort of just dump them in the center of the board at the beginning, and then while your ships are going around the fringes, picking things off. Because we struggle. You mentioned how we struggle with dealing with those really big units, but then we also struggle with just having bodies ourselves, holding points. And I know you had problems, Krohn, as well, with how you can sort of move around the board killing things, but then you're not taking objectives so much if you don't keep your eye on that. So
not really,
yeah. So there's a potential way to use them, but there is a lot of points because we don't have a lot of points that's for free, do we?
No.
They soon disappear, especially if you put an Ironclad in a list.
Yeah, and that's why I made like the hard decision to not use an Ironclad in my list, because I know Krohn is sold on the Ironclad, and I totally agree. But I just think that it's such a huge point sink because if you have the Ironclad, you want to have the Thunderers in it, the characters in it, so it's the points really start to stack up on that one big model. So now it's more complicated to gain objectives. But again, that's my play style. I'm more of a MSU type player, based on movement, on quick redeployment. So to me, an Ironclad it's a bit too expensive for me.
So because we kind of covered the skyports really. Then we've seen. I'm guessing you're saying that more as on things you're not really looking at so much. But in terms of units, when you look through the book, were there anything that you thought, these are must-take units, and these are ones that are not so strong and that thing?
Just before we get to that, I just want to have a quick debate with Krohn there because he plays Urbaz, I play Zilfin.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just want to know, why do you play Urbaz? Why do you rate Urbaz above Zilfin, for example?
So Zilfin's the quick, aggressive one. Urbaz lets you be more cautious, basically. Lets you play the long game a little. It gives you more of these. It gives you more ether gold, and it means you'll have enough ether gold basically to get a reroll to wound or to save every single turn for about 4 turns.
Yeah.
So you can just. Basically, you can teleport. I think it works really well with one big Death Star. 20 Thunders in an Ironclad. You teleport them where you need to on your opponent's flank, and then you just slowly, well, it's not really slowly, but you chip away at them bit by bit, and basically melt their entire army over the course of 2 or 3 turns. And then just hitting objectives for the last couple turns, and just win like that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I can see that.
I know. Yeah. So your Zilfin, you'd be in their face, turn 1 with everything. Just try to take them, neuter them before they can do anything before they can really do anything in the game, right?
Well, with Zilfin, I think the two things I like about it, how it fits in my list. First of all, I played the Rat Trap, Skaven Vortex.
Yeah.
And I think that this spell only works if you play Zilfin because of that special move. I think that the Auto Run 6 is also, it's sneaky good, especially with Arcanauts. That can be awesome. So I like the fact that, you're more mobile. And I think that in today's AOS, you win games by being mobile. I can still roll a flank, with gun haulers, with frigates, with sky wardens, with riggers. You can still, roll a flank, redeploy, but that little move with a gun hauler with characters in it. I call it my little Quinjet. These guys, I can just pop in, drop the vortex, then move again, fire, charge, whatever. Because one thing that I really like is the headful with the gun haulers. So I drop it 9 away, then I can just move on the other flank and just leave the vortex in a place where, okay, you're gonna do some mortal wounds, then I'm gonna go way out of that. So I think that's why I like Zilfin so much. That's the only skyport that you can really place that endless spell where you really want to, especially with the vortex. But it's as Lee said, it depends on your play style. I'm more of a move around, jump around, chip in. I have some wardens, some riggers to shoot, charge, capture objectives. So that's the way I play.
Yeah. Well, I mean the Warp Lightning Vortex, if you can get it off onto their army turn 1, it's going to hit everything in their army twice.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Right now, I think I've played, I would say 6-7 games with the Warp Lightning Vortex, and except for today, I played a game today against Zinch where he knew I had the Vortex, and he deployed accordingly. I only did 15 mortal wounds, but my previous games, it's always between 25 and 35 mortal wounds every single game.
You mean that's only the whole game, yes, not in the first round.
That's usually because I played against Zinch 4 times out of those games, and his Lord of Change just eats that spell. But when my opponent didn't have a lot of wizards, it stayed active for 2-3 turns. It's just insane.
Well, even if they have lots of wizards, if you play Halahar and if they put them all together, and you can put them all inside that vortex, the time you then do some shooting, they won't have any wizards anyway.
No, they won't. The way the vortex, the way I use it, I would say always, but most often I use it to snipe heroes, those 5 or 6 heroes. That's the best use.
It'll do 2d3 damage to them, so yeah.
And you get that lucky d6 sometimes as well.
Yeah.
But sniping those heroes. I played a game last Thursday against Sylvaneth. I killed the new heroes from the Loon Curse box. I got lucky, rolled a 6, so d6 mortal wounds, and I put 4 wounds on it, Branch Witch. So that's 2 heroes that are almost dead. I now put carbine shots on the Branch Witch to try and kill it, and focus elsewhere. So that's a sneaky way of using the vortex as well, just to chip wounds out of those heroes, and snipe those characters that can be hard to get sometimes.
Yeah, and because we're a shooting army, that's just makes it so much. Because obviously, if we were going to be shooting those heroes instead, we'd be at -1 to hit.
There you go.
Likely, so any extra wounds you can put on them before you start shooting them means that you don't have to invest so much shooting into them. It's really good. What? I just realised you mentioned the d6 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played. Obviously, didn't read the War Scroll very well because I didn't spot that the first few times I played with that, and so Yeah, that's a big difference if you get that unmodified 6. I hadn't noticed
exactly.
Oh yeah.
And since you're gonna roll like 4 or 5 times, because if you place it appropriately, you're gonna hit 4 or 5 units easy. So now it's about 10 dice. So you're gonna get a few 6s out of those.
Yeah,
it's just such a powerful spell, really. It's why it's 100 points, but yeah.
The tricky thing is placing it.
Yeah,
because you've got to place it right. And I think you've got to be very careful with the way you place it. Because if you place it wrong, you can't move it. You can't dispel it and cast it again. So you've got to get really think about where you're going to put that.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to use a 90-point chemist, an 100-point spell. That's 190, and you're gonna get 2 shots guaranteed to do at least D3 mortal wounds, even D6 if you're lucky, to so many units. That's every game, because I try to build lists without the vortex in it, and every time I try a different list, I see what else in the army can do 20 plus mortal wounds in the course of a game, and the answer is nothing. There's nothing for 190 points that can not guarantee, but that it can do reliably a lot of mortal wounds like that. There's nothing in the book.
Yeah.
So I think that's right now, before it's FAQ'd to work only once when you cast it. I think right now the vortex to me is a no-brainer. But you have to play Zilfin.
Well, I think they would have done that by now, wouldn't they?
I don't know. I mean, it already was FAQ'd because the range was formerly 26 inches.
Yeah.
Now it's down to 13 and I think the thought process was that, 26 you can cast it from your deployment zone. With 13, now you have to Skier Leap your wizard, your Grissier, and then cast the vortex. But it's not that much of a drawback to me. And actually, because of the Zilfin move, we now cast that spell way better than Skaven, which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
We do. It does put all endless spells in this weird position where they could end up being like another faction's endless spell could end up getting nerfed because of us.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that I really like is that from now on, every endless spell that will get released,
we can have it.
We crack at it. Exactly. That's awesome.
Well, like I was saying yesterday, like Gary really was saying yesterday, what if Seraphon get an endless spell that's like a spawning pool and spawns Seraphon for you?
Huh. Yeah. It's a nice one. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Wow.
Get like 3 Seraphon on the board every turn.
3 skinks, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Yeah,
especially if they keep their retreat from combat. So we have ships retreating from combat.
And even if the end of spell will allow us to summon skinks, period. I think I would take it probably.
Because of our bodies issue.
Yeah.
Just something that gives you 3 bodies during the game.
Yeah, just cheap disposable units. That would be something to think about. That's for sure. That's for sure. Then think about it. Wow, 3 skinks. Why not?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So I guess you're saying you consider a chemist a must take.
I think if you play Zilfin, I think you have to. I mean that free move to me just seems built for the chemist and the vortex. I mean it's just a match made in heaven. I'm telling you, I tried to build lists without that vortex and that chemist, and every single time I'm saying, that is it looks pretty good, but it's not the vortex.
Yeah. So
to me, that it's just mandatory.
It definitely
free vortex.
Yeah.
That's why I think that take away that item, take away the spell in the bottle, and I think Urbaz is our best skyport. And I don't think it's even close, to be honest. But that little move with the spell in the bottle with the vortex, I think it puts Zilfin just over the top for me. Just over the top.
Yeah. I would have. Yeah, I gotta. I'm still thinking about what I'm actually taking to CanCon, and I still don't really know.
The next CanCon.
Oh, not CanCon. Sorry, SAGT.
Okay.
Right. SAGT is the next big tournament for me, and I don't know what I'm taking. And Zilfin's definitely up there.
It's like a drug, man. Once you do it,
once you go Zilfin, you never go back.
Oh yeah.
Once you get a taste of that
that's
hero
some weird Ergold shit. I mean, once you see the face of your opponent, when you drop that vortex, and he just removes models, you say, "Wow, man, that's just awesome. That's just great." So try it,
that's
Krohn.
What it's like to be. That's what it's like to be KO. Lightning vortex. Not even once, kids.
Nope. Oh no, it's just too good to pass up to me. But I truly get what you mean with your Ether goal. I've listened to the previous 2 Aethercasts when you talked about your list for CanCon and when you reviewed the Battletome. You know, I totally agree with you that the Ether Gold share thing with Urbaz is awesome. It's great. It's a great mechanic. I think it's one of our strong suit. But that vortex, man, it's just
the damage.
Just too hard. Yeah, exactly.
So you're never tempted by any cheaper endless spells then? Just to get to a point where you get in your list and you think, oh, if I just had a cheaper endless spell, I could fit this in.
No, the thing is, the way I build my list, if I remove those 100 points and I put in like a cheaper endless spell, it doesn't do much more for me. I mean, yeah, I could put in the Geminids, which is a great spell. I could put in the Wildfire Taurus from the Beast of Chaos. It's a great English spell. I even thought about, because there's a strong Tzeentch meta where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I thought about the Rift, the Warp Rift from Chaos that does more mortal wounds as you have wizards. I thought about that, but and I know Krohn used the Realmscape Rupture.
Rupture, yeah, to slow them down.
Yeah, which is nice. I think it's it's got potentials, just like Shackles maybe, but then again, it's not 20-something odd mortal wounds, and no, it doesn't. And even just some armies preventing runs, can be disruptive enough as far as movement. And no flying can also be something that's interesting. I mean,
although weirdly enough, even though if someone stops our ships from being able to fly, we can still fly high.
Yeah, oddly enough.
I don't know how. They toss it.
Ether gold.
Tossed me.
There you go. So I've tried. I've been list building for really the past month. I was lucky enough to have access to the book earlier than usual, and so I've been list building, and it's right now where I'm at right now. It's just too hard to pass up, and I've tried to include a Vortex in a non-Zilfin list. I've tried Urbaz like crazy. I really like that skyport as well, but it's the delivery system of Zilfin is just too great, where you can put the Vortex in the enemy. And something that is not always understood is that it's such. If you listen to the past podcast where I was on a few months ago, I like going second. I think KO is not an army that can withstand a double turn. I think that's a must. Well, and we used to be able to do that reliably because we had few drops. Even though we didn't have a battalion, we had few drops because of the shifting. Now it's not the same case. My army is 6 to 7 drops right now. So it's no guarantee I'm going to get to choose if I go first or second. But I find that my opponents, because of the Vortex, because of the hero phase move, they want to go first. They want to, if you have the option, they want to go first because they want to be able to move a bit to prevent me from dropping that Vortex where I want to. And that's something that can be interesting for us as well. So we have that power, even though we have more drops. I won't get to choose as often as I'd like if I go first or second because of that vortex and that Zilfin move. It's something that my opponent really has to think about.
Well, just in any skyport, just to fly high, just basically means in any skyport you can just deploy in the corner, and regardless of whether you have the choice of going first or not, you can devastate a flank if they make you go first. And if they go first, they probably can't get to you. I mean, there's some armies that can.
Yeah, but add to that a vortex in your deployment zone turn 1.
Yeah.
Because there is no other skyport, there's no other ability that allows you for sure to do that. You can use the Mornar move or the Admiral's command trait, but then you have to make the move before you decide who goes first. So if you know
who goes first with those ones,
you have to outdrop.
With Mornar, you have to be able to go first. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Exactly. And with 6 or 7 drops, which kind of is the norm right now in our list, there's no guarantee over a 5 or 6 game event that you're gonna have that pick every single game. So if you don't have that pick, do you want to risk it? Do you want to risk your gun hauler or your frigate, whatever you want to deploy your chemist in? Do you want to risk that? And I think if I play against someone who doesn't get a pick, who goes first, he drops that ship, I'm going to take first. I'm going to kill off that chemist, that boat, and be sure that you won't be able to drop that vortex.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think that Zilfin here is the key thing, because you're pretty much guaranteed you can deploy in the corner still, and protect that gun hauler, and you can withstand the first turn. But then you force your opponent. Okay, do I want to go first and potentially have him double turn me, but I get a chance to maybe make it harder for him to drop that vortex, or do I want to go second and I'm going to eat that vortex for at least a turn, where he wants to put it. So I think it's a legitimate issue for our opponents now.
The vortex, yeah. I just found that I did enough damage at CanCon basically that I didn't find I needed the vortex.
Okay.
I didn't need even more damage. With the amount of ether share, with basically a rerollable saved Ironclad is going to survive practically everything. 20 Thunderers with rerollable 4-up saves is going to survive practically anything. And Thunderers with on the ground hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, and then wounding on 4s with full rerolls kills pink horror squads in one turn.
Yeah.
So you can really just castle up in the opponent's deployment zone on one objective just to keep a little bit of points. And just through their entire army. Using this Ironclad Thunderer combo, just slowly shoot through their entire army and then take objectives. So the 4 games that I won at CanCon, I tabled my opponent every single game. Because Ironclad and Thunderers. You like your Vortex? I like my Ironclad and Thunderers because they just do so much damage.
Yeah, and it's you know what's good about that is we use 2 very different builds, 2 very different skyports, and we're still really happy about it. With the old book, there was 1, maybe 2 builds, that was pretty much decent.
And gun line, basically.
Yeah. Now there are so many options, even though we don't have that many war scrolls to begin with. We have so many options, and that's the sign of a great book, to be honest. Great internal balance.
Yeah, and didn't actually have it had an FAQ, but it didn't actually have an errata.
Yeah,
exactly.
They didn't have to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was they had to change a lot with Zench because our book it's balanced. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
It's
It's
good
fun,
for the
it's
game.
balanced, it's competitive. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Krohn.
I think it's funny because a little while ago you went through the other endless spells, and I think you pretty much in the space of about 5 seconds just listed all the top picks for spelling the bottle.
Yeah. Well, it's just that right now, I mean, I don't think there's a competition. I mean, those 3 or 4 endless spells, they're just the most obvious one because a lot of them are faction dependent.
Yeah.
Like the new Bone Reaper ones are really, or the Sylvanet ones. They give you buffs to specific keywords, which we don't have.
Oh, the Bone Reaper one is actually all right. At least the Predator.
Yeah, that's the one.
That binds itself to your chemist. It binds itself to the caster, which means only you can control it, and it'll run around the field doing d6 mortal wounds to everything.
That's true.
So the Predator's a pick that I would actually do. It just doesn't work against Bone Reapers. So, considering how many millions of Bone Reapers there are, I'm not sure how useful it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Millions of Petrifex Elite players that we have.
Yeah. There's a big Bone Reaper bandwagon.
Oh yeah.
So something that doesn't work against them is not great, really, is it? You don't really want to, especially when they're a very strong army. You don't really want to then have one of your best tools not work against them.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Vortex really likes Bone Reapers.
Okay.
Does the Vortex kill Skaven as well?
Yes.
Really well, to be honest. I've played it, and that's the first time I used the Vortex. It was against Skaven. I can't tell you how happy I was to throw Vortex at a Skaven player. It was so rewarding.
Ironically, my first game was against Skaven as well.
Okay.
And Vortex on some Plague Monks.
Did it feel good?
Yes. Because I also put an Everblaze Comet there as well.
Oh, poor thing.
They took lots of mortal wounds.
Awesome. That's great.
So what are you not putting in lists? What did you look through and say, no, that's a miss for me?
Okay. I think that in the new book, everything has its place. When I build a list, I think about what do I need, and ironically enough, even though we have more battleline options than we ever had, I still need a good 20 Arcanauts in every list because of screening. That's to me, it's mandatory.
Screening, or you die to feck, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Or screening to against Changeos, for example. I played 3 or 4 games against Changeos with the new book, and just that screen prevents his units from locking up my valuable units or shooting at them. Against Iron Jaws, you need that. Against Ogres, you need that. You always need a screen. If you want to use a competitive list, you need a screen. Because sooner or later, you're going to run across someone that can alpha strike you. And that 20 Arcanaut screen unit units, because I play 2 units of 10. That is what is going to save you. So when you build a list, I always start with those Arcanauts. Even though they pretty much don't do anything else right now, they just exist, which is plenty enough for me. I always put 2 times 10 Arcanauts in every list. After that, I think the sneaky MVP of our new book are the gun haulers. I think they're at the 150 points. I think they're really cheap for what they can do. They can pack finally a decent punch with a shrapnel cannon, which is awesome. They can move hitchers, which is great. And even with the Coalbeard's collapsible compartment, they can bring a 5-man Thunder unit, or they can bring a few characters. I've tried three chemists on a collapsible compartment gun hauler.
3 chemists. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, while 9d6 shots can be pretty good.
Yeah.
So I use again. I use the Zilfin move, drop the vortex, and now I'm free to move with the gun hauler, and then I'm free to fire 9d6 shots at units. And even if I used a head full special rule for the gun hauler, it's a 27-inch threat range once I drop the vortex, so I can snipe characters. And that -2 rand is nothing to sneeze at. And one chemist hits on a 3+ because of the staff of accurate optimization.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be something that's interesting. But usually I run one chemist. After that, I think so. For me, I run the escort wing. I know that the Iron Sky Command is that its name?
Yeah,
the
Iron Sky Command is very popular. But no, I'm with you. I like my escort wing. Give you those free reroll ones to hit.
Exactly. That's awesome. So I run escort wing. And I'm a frigate guy, so I run a frigate. I run 2 gun haulers. I run a 10-man Thunderer unit, and then it's balloon boys. I got 18 balloon boys. So right now, because I don't have like shooty riggers, so I'm playing with Sky Wardens instead, which drops my number of drops. But I do have 6 riggers and 12 Sky Wardens right now. So once I'm gonna build my new shooty riggers, I'll probably use more riggers than Sky Wardens. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So to get back to Lee's original question, I think the two things I wish I could put in, but I'm not putting in, it's the Engine Master with dirigible suit. He's just, I've tried to fit him in, and he's just too expensive for me. It was often, do I want to remove the screen or no screen? Ooh. So I couldn't afford both.
But phosphate bombs.
Yeah, I know.
So good.
I know. But then again, if I do that in the Zilfin list, it's either that or the Vortex. So
or you have to then have your chemist be the general collector.
Yeah.
You end up going circles.
So right now, my setup, I run a 2-hero list. Yeah. I tried a list with, and I tried it just the game today. I tried a 3-hero list with collector. So I had chemist collector with spell in the bottle. I had an engine master with harness with the staff, and I had navigator with the voidstone orb. I think it's called the out of the spell one. But my main list is I run an engine master on foot with the command trait that gives him +2 shots to his Eye of Grudgony, and the staff. So it's on 2+, wounds on 2+, -1 rand, D3 damage on 3 attacks. So not too shabby.
So are you putting him in the gun hauler?
Yeah, exactly.
So the 9-inch range doesn't matter.
It's not an issue
because you're flying high the ship in the hero phase, and then you're moving it afterwards normally.
Exactly. With the chemist as well, so it's sneaky good firepower.
Yeah.
With the cannon on the gun hauler plus the vortex plus the atomizer plus the Eye of Grudgony, it can do significant damage to an unsuspecting opponent, I would say.
The funny thing is, he's a combat hero, really, but you're actually turning him into a shooting hero with those.
Yeah, and as well, I often charge with that gun hauler as well, just to bring him closer. And I have good luck with him. A lot of mortal wounds with his hammer. So on 4-up, D3 mortal wounds with the gun hauler plus his 3 attacks. That little gun hauler and his heroes can finish up a few units. It's so far it's been working great for me.
Yeah, at the end, it's something easy to overlook, but the Engine Master with harness is if you an unmodified 6 in melee is flat 3 mortal wounds.
Straight up 3 mortal wounds.
Yep.
It's better than Brock. Because Brock has the same harness, but he does D3 mortal wounds, despite being a hell of a lot more points.
Yeah.
And I think
speaking of units you don't take in this new book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And so the dirigible suit, I want to play him. Actually, I wrote an Urbaz list, and he's in it. But in any Zilfin list, unfortunately, I cannot find points for him. And the other unit I wish I could play is Ironclad, because it's awesome. It's just a bit too pricey for me. I like to have more models on the table, more wardens, more riggers for border control. And to me, every list I've tried with the Ironclad was a bit lacking for me, for my taste. But I know I really like Krohn's list. It's just not my kind of list.
You gotta try it. Just take the Ironclad, give it the reroll, see what it does.
Yeah, I've tried it. Yeah, I've tried it, but man, I'm telling you, the rat trap is a drug, just like your Ironclad and your Thunder thing is a drug for you as well. It's just a 1,000-point drug, so it's I don't like that.
The thing is, once you start making some decisions in your list, that obviously then pushes you down other certain routes. Because I think you can make a stronger case for the Flying Engine Master if you do have an Ironclad because of the flat 3 wounds healing.
Totally.
But you will end up pushing yourself down this route where you have very few bodies.
Yeah, and I've tried the Zilfin list with the dirigible suit, the Vortex, and the Ironclad, and it was pretty cool. But it set me back like a gun hauler. It set me back riggers, and I still had I played the Sky Command. I tried this battalion. I really like the game. I really like the list. And I know these are great models, but for me, it's not my play style. But I would totally agree. I totally understand if someone wants to play those models because they are great. And personally, I like the bomblets on the dirigible suit guy. But I kind of I want to try. And my Urbazes that I built, that's what I'm going to run. I'm going to try it pretty soon. It's the Ethereal Amulet with the +2 wound things. So 10 wounds, 3 up on unrendable
save with some rerolls in there as well if you need them.
Yeah, and in an Urbaz build, I can put like more shares to that guy.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
That's something I want to try for sure. It's a nice combo. I think it would be really hard to shift. So yeah, I think there's something to that.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. So we're getting a bit of an idea of the sort of list you're taking. So you're taking the escort wing, and we know a couple of heroes you're taking, and so you've got what 3 units of 6 Sky Riggers.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I'm running what I have, and I'm running some tests. Right now, I'm running 3 6-man units, one of 6 engine riggers with saws and rivet guns. I'm running a 6-man shooty squad of wardens with 2 volley guns and 2 drill cannons. And that's something I'm trying right now. It's a close combat warden unit in the Zilfin list. I know heresy, but it's 5 sky pikes and 1 skyhook. And so far, the tests have not been great, to be honest.
With sky wardens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like combat wardens. Yeah, I want to have them work because I really like those models. Those are the guys I use with my my Zilfin gun hauler thing in the hero phase, because now their pistols are in range. I can have them charge, and since they're wardens in the escort wing, they get to roll ones against the target I want to shoot. So far, not so great, to be honest. I'm more and more I'm inclined to swap them with 6 more riggers with saws, and that's it.
The riggers just do the same thing, but better.
I know,
and then they can heal ships as well.
Yeah,
I know. Everything is for the riggers, and I know that. I wish I could make them work, but I can't. I feel like powerless for Sky Wardens.
If they were if they were cheaper, or riggers were more expensive, or
if the only I think it would not be too far of a reach to have them hit on a 3-up in close combat.
Yeah,
with their pikes. I think just that it's that 4. I charge. I played a game today. I charged a unit of horrors, and with those 11 attacks, I hit like 3 times, wounded once. I did 2 wounds. I killed 2 horrors with a melee unit. I felt so powerless. I mean, just it's those 4s. Forced to hit is just a killer. So if it was 3s and 3s, which is not to me like all that amazing, I think it would be pretty good. The only thing that prevents me from swapping those warden with riggers right away is it's 1 more drop for me, because they're part of the escort wing. They get that rolling ones to hit in melee in shooting, plus it's not a drop more. But I don't know.
Yeah,
it's really they're underwhelming.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, it's the problem with the
they're all right in Zon.
Yeah,
but that's also Zon.
Yeah, you build your old skyport around that to have like riggers hit like to have wardens hit like riggers with an extra attack.
Yeah,
you build your whole skyport for that.
I said it before. Why are you making? You shouldn't be spending all this effort to make an average unit good when you could be making a good unit better.
Exactly, I agree totally, 100%. So I don't know. That's the one part of my list that I'm playing around. I'm probably gonna swap to riggers pretty soon, because I think they're just better in every sense, in every way. It's just I'm gonna go from 6 to 7 drops. That's pretty much it. I might even go all riggers. Like I'm gonna have 2 combat rigger units, and I'm gonna have that shooty rigger unit with the extra gun hauler that stays a bit more behind. So I think all riggers for me will probably be the norm once I get those 6 extra models painted up and built. So I don't know.
I mean, I'd still need to get a rat trap painted up because.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You should.
The first thing I actually tried to do was put that the Slanesh spell in, but that didn't work at all.
Yeah, the mirror.
Yeah. It's like 36 mortal wounds. 6 6s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah, I'll get that every second game, right?
Oh sure. Of course. And the thing that is awesome of the rat trap as well, it takes a 9 to dispel in other turns. So that's something to think about as well.
Yeah.
Rat trap, Grom.
Grom's good drop. It's so nice. And it's cheaper. Yeah. The rat trap is 100 points.
And worth every single one of those.
Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to look past it, really. I've got some neat conversion ideas for the rat trap.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I'm gonna work on that too, because I'm
converted rat trap.
Yeah,
using like floating bombs.
That would be so cool, right?
I'm thinking about some sort of device on a base of the floor with the normal rat trap spell coming out of it. A bit like in like the Ghostbusters thing where they suck the ghost in, but it's like rat trap out, that sort of thing.
Or put like engines like from the Wardens or engine riggers, and put like gunpowder bombs around it.
Yeah,
that could be cool as well.
I did see on Facebook someone had done a really cool shackles with engines, and they had kind of the shackles. So yeah, kind of similar to that, really. I guess would look pretty cool.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Yeah.
So the list you're running, then, are you fairly set on that now? Do you think that's something you're going to stick with for the foreseeable?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, unless things change. For example, if we get FAQ'd and the Zilfin move doesn't work with Sky High or doesn't bring more balloon guys, that could be something that's going to change my list. Other than that, riggers instead of wardens, which is pretty much the obvious, but I still want to try those. That's pretty much what I'm planning to run. I really like how the list plays. Every balloon unit fits with a ship. Everything has a place, has a purpose in the list. That's something I like. You know, I like when I build a list, I like to, okay, well, this unit, that's its purpose. That's what it should be doing. And if I find a unit that doesn't have a purpose, well, okay, so what else can I put in? And I think that every single model in that list fits a purpose, and that's the thing I like. The Engine Master, I think, is a hidden gem, to be honest with you. 100 points, it can do mortal wounds in close combat. With 3 shots of his Eye of Gluttony, it's nothing to sneeze at. The Chemist, with a spell in the bottle, with Atomizer, Arcanauts for a screen, Frigate, Thunderers, Mainstays, Gun Haulers, with the riggers that they can move around. I think my list is pretty much set. I really like how it plays.
So in terms of how it plays, so just describe that for us then. So to start with, how are you deploying it? Are you tucking stuff in a corner?
Yeah, well, depends on the scenario, depends on who I'm playing, but usually I can bubble wrap like the whole army, the 3 ships, the 18 balloon boys, as far back as I can. Really important to ask your opponent if you don't know his army. Ask for threat range, ask for teleports, ask for reserves. So what else can reach me? You know, how can you reach me? And you just bubble wrap those guys with your Arcanaut screen. So that's how I play.
Yeah,
that's how I deploy. And usually on my
most things.
20 Arcanauts, exactly.
Yep.
I find that it's enough, to be honest. I think if you use really like the inch between both models, you can screen a rather large area, and that's usually enough. Other than if for example I would play like a Gav bomb list, I would deploy in a corner and use like a box deployment, like a 90-degree angle with Arcanauts to make sure that you cannot break that screen, and then all the ships behind it. And usually
pretty much like that all the time too.
Okay, well, it's a really viable thing to do. Yeah.
I also think it's also really important to ask your opponent not just what can reach me, but what can buff you. So what's giving you the reroll saves? What's giving you reroll wounds? That kind of thing.
Yeah, you're totally right. I agree. Really important, and that's the part you want to attack first.
Yeah, or other than that, what can debuff us?
Exactly.
Things that are going to give us negatives to hit. We're not so worried about things that make us fight last, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Debuffs to hit are fairly bad. So you deploy fairly defensively.
Exactly.
Green. And then
unless I know for sure I'm gonna play have first turn or second turn, or if I know that he can't reach me even though he's gonna play first, then I can deploy a bit more aggressively. But it's really opponent dependent. But usually I want to be on the safe side of things, and since we can all redeploy our whole army except for Arcanauts rather quickly, then it's rather easy for me to deploy. After that, I really try to find, okay, so where would the Vortex do the most damage? Not always like it's the biggest threat I have, but where can it do the most damage? So is it for as many units as possible, like those cheap heroes, they're gonna buff or debuff or cast spells? If I can like kill one or two, if I can do enough damage to weaken them, so that's where I want to put that boat. After that, I'm gonna drop that boat. Usually, I'm gonna use the full ahead move for the gun hauler to redeploy that gun hauler with the heroes to a weak spot where I can like kill those little heroes. Because the thing with the engine master with the +2 shots and +1 to hit, it's still a 2+ to hit. So even if I want to snipe a hero, okay, it's going to be a 3 up or maybe a 4 up if I'm really unlucky. Well, if that hero is softened up because of the vortex, now I need one of those to go through. So it's easier for me. After that, usually I'm going to put those close combat wardens, priests and riggers, so they can as well move, shoot their pistols, have an easy charge against soft units, maybe take an objective. Depends on the scenario, really. If I want to swarm an objective, I can do that. And then the frigate will act as my main fire point with the riggers as well. So they're gonna be able to fire all their pistols because of the range. Thunderers, frigate. So usually it's my main firing point, and I'm gonna deploy the last gun hauler with the shooty wardens or riggers, probably 18 away, just to be in range for the shrapnel cannon and the range for drills and volley guns. So that's pretty much how I set up, and I'm usually gonna overwhelm a flank first. And then once the opponent reacts, I can redeploy, move away, roll up the other flank. So it really depends on how he deploys, how he plays, what are the main threats. But the thing is with KOs is you have to identify what do you want gone as quickly as possible. And you just swarm that. If you spread your shots around, you're not gonna win. You have to focus fire on things you want dead. So that's the main thing with KOs.
And with Sky High, very important.
Exactly. And you have to choose. You have to. We have the ability now to do just that with Sky High.
And
so
allocating that firepower correctly is really crucial, because you don't. It's the striking the right balance between hitting the 2 or 3 or maybe even one key thing and making sure it's dead without overkilling it by a large amount, because you don't want to waste half your shooting by making sure something's dead. And I guess that's where the more MSU list is quite handy, because you can just say, well, this unit's going to put all their shots into that, and you don't have to worry about, well, do I have to split some of my shots, which you might kind of have to do with an Ironclad or 20 Thunderers, because you put 20 Thunderers into a 5-wound hero, they're going to kill it. If you're actually wasting 3/4 shots, so you've got to be very careful not to overkill.
You play around with that squad and see just how much damage it does, and then know how much firepower you need to allocate to that 5-wound hero. So usually, if you put 10 carbines into a 5-wound hero, it'll kill him. So the other 10, which for me are special weapons, but and other people could still have the more carbines. Those other 10 carbines can go and shoot something else.
It's really trial and error. You have to know what you can do, and you have to compensate for like bad rolls or something like that. And that's where MSU for me is more forgivable, because if you have a bad roll, well, it was still one part of your army, not your main thing. So, but
if you don't worry about drops, if you're not super concerned about drops, MSU is just better because it gives you more sergeants, and sergeants come with extra attacks.
Yeah.
Thunderous sergeants have 4 carbine shots. Riggers have double attacks. It's
That's a good point. So, would you ever consider, because you're running 3 units of 6, the riggers, and would you consider going to 6 units of 3?
Yes, if I make the decision to go all riggers instead of wardens for the I would probably I thought about it splitting like my units of 3, my 2 units of 6 wardens into 3s. I thought about it, and it was a good idea, to be honest. But yeah, it's definitely something that if you don't worry about drops at all. Yes, because now I'm in that zone, like that 6-7 drop zone, where I still have a shot at choosing who goes first. If I do go to 6 units of 3, it's now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's now 11 drops.
Yeah.
So I can just kiss priority goodbye. So I know I'm not gonna have to choose. Whereas if I'm 6 or 7, I still get the pick once in a while. I don't know. For 1 extra attack, is it worth it? I don't know. I don't think so.
1 extra attack is double attacks.
Yeah.
It is. Units is on. Because on Arcanauts, it makes no difference at all.
No.
I mean, you got 2 units of 10 because they're your battle line.
Exactly.
Something like riggers, where you get that extra saw attack, potentially.
I guess.
From a durability point of view, someone can come in and do 20 wounds, but if it's to a 6 wound unit, it really matter. But
it does help to mitigate damage as well, because now you can, if your opponent is a big unit of, a big shooty unit, well, he can't overkill more than 3 riggers. Yeah. So it can be something. I can see it as well with Thunderers. But since I only run 10, I lose that Ether Gold share by doing 2 of 5s.
Oh yeah.
But
Thunderers you kind of want in 10s for the
10s at least.
Yeah, I want that share.
With the Wardens, it's 0 to 3 in the escort wing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's 0 to 3.
So you could split one of them if you wanted, without increasing your drops.
Yeah, but I could leave like the shooty unit as wardens and have them split. That was my initial thought as well. But yeah, that could be something I'll do, but I'm not sold on it yet. It's an extra pike attack.
Yeah, it's with wardens. It doesn't tempt me so much.
Yeah, because
with the saw is so powerful.
Yeah, and it really doubles your attacks.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you split the squad, it's 2 charge rolls.
Yes. Yeah, with a melee.
That's true.
So you want to bring an extra saw attack, but if you fail one of the 2 charges, then you actually lose saw attacks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's more drops. I would probably do it in Iron Sky Command. When
everything's 1 drop. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, I mean, it depends how you build your Iron Sky Command, because I mean, a lot of people are building that with the new Flying Engine Master as the general, and then they're pretty much taking 3 units of 6 riggers, and you only get 3 units in the battalion. So if you start splitting those units again, you're increasing your drop count, and you're taking your 1 or 2 drop list 3 if you want to garrison units. You're taking that and then you're turning it into a 6 drop. So
yeah. And the thing is, if you have only 3 models and you want to storm objective, again, if you have 2 times 3, you miss a charge, then you lose half your models that would seize that objective.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Because you're getting less models on, and you're going to kill less with your attacks as well.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm not not sold on that. Maybe with shooty wardens, I might do it. But to be honest, for me, it's not worth like one extra attack, even though it's a really good attack. I don't think it's worth it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just FYI, I'm gonna have to go in about 10 minutes, guys.
All
right.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered most things anyway, haven't we?
Okay. Cool.
I think just how many points does your list come up to in total?
It's a flat 2,000.
Okay.
So no extra triumph or stuff like that.
No.
I could I could swap the engine master for second chemist, save 10 points, and I have the next chemist have the staff for +1 to hit. I've tried that. It's pretty good, but I like the engine master's ability to heal the ship and to dish out a few extra damage in melee as well.
Yeah, just give the ship more of a combat threat as well, because he just sits inside and just smacks them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing I like. So to me, it's not worth it. And with 1990, you're not that guaranteed a triumph.
No.
So,
and
hey, 1980 or 1970, really.
If any army doesn't need a triumph, it's us, because we have all of them.
Exactly. I'm not building my list around that at all.
It's one of those weird things that because we suddenly got this ability with triumphs, I'm extra acutely aware of triumphs. And if
our opponents now are acutely aware of our triumphs as well now.
If you do get it, the nice interaction with the way a normal triumph works, and the A for gold is that you can use it in the same phase.
You can,
but it's also really annoying if you build a list that's 1960 or 1970 and then you don't get a triumph.
And actually, I've built a list that was at 1950, and I really thought about not buying the extra command point just to be almost sure to have the triumph. To me, a triumph in that list is worth more than extra command point.
Yeah.
But it's something to think about.
It's one of those things where it's nice if you build a list and it comes out and it's like 1970 or 1980.
Yeah.
But I don't think you want to be considering it when you're writing that list. And I really want to.
No, I'm not shooting for that at all.
No, that's just a thing that just happens to happen if it's there.
Exactly.
Okay. So so you're practicing with your arm at the moment.
Yeah.
What's all this practice for? When have you next got a big tournament?
Well, the thing is, I'm actually like a big TO in Quebec, so I don't get to play in that many big events because the biggest one is the one I'm organizing, and I'm not playing obviously in it. Yeah, it's small compared to CanCon or to whatever events you have in the UK. But for us, we're gonna have a 64-player event in April. So for us, it's the biggest one in Canada, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be playing like at small one-day events. I do run a league. I played in the province of Quebec, which is the province I'm from, and then in that league, which is like a year-long league, and there's a top 8 event at the end of December. And I've won that this year with my KO list. I took to CCBB as well in Ottawa. So it was a big year for my KOs. I won CCBB, which at the time was the biggest one in Canada. Then I won the Quebec League with my Overlords. So right now I don't plan on attending any major events. I'm the Canada's ETC captain, so we're planning to go to Luxembourg, in August. So we're gunning for that. Our team is ready. We have 6 players, a few alternates as well. We're doing some practice games, so that'll be our biggest one. And since I have a young family, it's not, I could make it to Adepticon, to the boys, to LVO. I could make it to those events, but with a young family, like I got 2 kids, 2 and 7. It's not the best of time to live into my wife for a whole week or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's I can get that.
Yeah. So, but in a few years, for sure, I'll be going to those events.
Yeah.
But for the next year or so, I'm gunning for the ETC, and that's pretty much going to be it, to be honest. And I like to organize events as well. I really like that. So even more than I have to play, I think so.
I
that's like 60
appeal.
Yeah, to have 64 players, really have fun, and that's because of me. That's really, really, really humbling, and that's really fun as well. So,
so when is ETC?
I think it's August. I think the team event is August 8 to 10 in Luxembourg, and there's the singles event 2 days before that.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Are you just in the teams, or are you going in the singles as well?
No, this year is going to be only teams.
Yeah.
Only teams for me. Yeah. I know a few of our players will get to play in the singles event, but I'll be playing only in the teams event.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll use the extra time for family vacation. We're probably gonna go to Scotland first, and then we're gonna go to Luxembourg for the event, and that's gonna be it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on and talking with us about how you see KO.
Hey, it's been awesome.
It's always really good to have like another point of view.
I think it's been great because it's been very different to what I've been hearing from a lot of KO players. Different to what Krohn's been thinking about, different to what I've been looking at, different to what I don't know if you watched Faction Focus on AOS Coach yesterday with Krohn and Gary Percival, but very different from what Gary's been looking at as well. And the fact that 3 very good tournament players that have had success that are looking at very different, very different, because Gary's also looking at the Warp Lightning Vortex, obviously.
As he should.
The fact that you're building significantly different lists is encouraging.
Yeah, because you and Gary's lists are definitely very different.
Yeah.
He's also Zilfin, but he's also tries to take that Ironclad.
Yeah. And the Endra Master with the only real same thing is the chemist with the spell in the bottle, the spell, and then the 3 units of 6. Everything else then is different. So pretty much half the list.
Yeah,
it's really cool. We're figuring out. We're still figuring out what is actually the best. The best way to run this book, and there might not.
I think there's more than one.
Yeah.
And there's more than one, which is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been awesome. We should do this again sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're interested, I really like coming on the shows and talking KOs. I really like that. You guys are great as well. It's been fun to follow Krohn a bit at CanCon. So that's
thanks.
Awesome, guys.
Great. It's been great having you on as well. And if we can get you on again, then we can work out timings and that. Then I'm sure we'd love to have you because you offer some great insights, and it's always good to have different insights as well, because if not, we end up saying thing over and over again.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks to you.
Thank you to everyone that's been listening, and I'm sorry we haven't really looked in the chat much, but there'll be other times for that. So, okay. Thank you, everyone.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.